Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and by God, the shift in my schedule has really made it hard for me to find time to do any recording. Like, I just looked at my OBS and I realized it's been 5 days since I've done any recording. Like, what the actual hell? That's like, normally when that happens, it's because there's something big going on, or my brain is doing what my brain likes to do to me, or there's usually like some sort of health related reason. No, this is just the change in my schedule has made it really hard for me to find time to do any real recording, which would be less of an issue except for during the winter when I'm not gonna walk to work because it's cold and snowy and icy, and I don't want to fall and break my ass. So I tend to drive to work, and hey, guess what? When it's really cold out, it takes my engine forever to warm up. Now, that wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world either, except for I've had transmission and drivetrain issues by driving my car when it's cold. So, just every little thing is just piling on top of itself to make this a really, really difficult for me. And not for a good reason either. Like, I'm actually a little upset about it. What? So I've got cooldowns and max health. Yay. And then they start me on goddamn Freya's stage so that my ice elemental swords are doing essentially minimum damage right now, and minimum effect because the freeze. I mean, I guess if there were a time to have this problem, I would rather it be right here at the beginning of the run rather than at the end, but still. But yeah, for those of you wondering why I haven't uploaded anything in a while, it's strictly because of time. And I admittedly I've had other problems, but the time issue is definitely the big deal that I've had going on. Go away now. And yes, I know that I have Sano's headband. I don't know. I would rather have the Chrono Glove, because at least that way I know I've got time to use my charged attacks without it just being a huge issue. Okay, what do we got going on here? So, going up against Fire Lady. Ugh. I just don't have a lot of good options here. I think I do want to switch to this, though. Then, is this worth it? Hey, really? I don't know. Really hoping to find something better for my setup here soon. I would rather keep Sano's headband than lose it. At this point, I'm just kind of searching for anything that will make my life just a little bit easier. I will say one thing that I've been doing is I've been trying to understand myself and the psychology that's been affecting me as hard as it has been lately. And I'm not going to say unfortunately, but I have discovered a few things about myself, or rather come to understand them a little bit better. Like these are like I'm talking about like psychological things. Oh, look at that. Even beautifully, like just going to wind kick the wall. Love it. And one of the things that kind of stood out to me while I was doing my armchair psychology research, which of course is me. It's not like going to an actual psychologist and having anything diagnosed, but I noticed patterns in myself as I've been doing some studying, trying to figure out why my brain works the way that it does, or rather doesn't work the way that it does. And one of the things that I had talked about before, which is this kind of like toxic perfectionism that's constantly keeps me second-guessing myself and hating every mistake that I make, there is an actual term for that. And I think the last time I talked about this was a couple of years ago. Like, obviously I would have a hard time finding the video for it now, but it was something that I had found and had discussed previously, and it actually has a name that I wasn't aware of. I believe the term for it is either maladaptive perfectionism or toxic perfectionism, is a very much simpler term. And it's this idea that if you aren't being absolutely perfect, or that if you make anything that you perceive as a mistake, you feel as though you are a problem. And the reason why feelings like that come about is oftentimes, as cliche as it might sound, because of basically being overlooked as a kid, because either your parents or the people in your life were just very, like, I don't want to say neglectful, but basically it's like they didn't have time for you unless you were living up to their perfected ideals. And that, unfortunately, ties in very well with the idea that I've been picking up on the fact that, growing up, my mother probably wasn't the woman I thought she was, and that's having a serious effect. So I guess, yeah, you could say that part of the reason why I haven't been uploading as much has been because I've been dealing with that. Not trying to make excuses, I should be uploading more often. I'm simply putting it in perspective. Also like to point out this is coming from someone who used to upload nearly every day, save for like maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and now I'm having a hard time doing any uploading. It's like I feel like garbage because of that, but I should also point out this is precisely the sort of thing that I was talking about, where I don't feel like I'm worthy of any sort of positive attention unless I'm being absolutely perfect. Like, those of you who remember the last Balatro video I did, and yes, I am going to go back to it because I do enjoy the game, I just don't enjoy how I react to it sometimes. That's on me. But those of you who remember that when that happened, I essentially started to have a breakdown on camera, which, yeah, that was completely by accident. I wasn't trying to like make anyone feel bad about anything, or for that matter, myself. Like, I don't want that. Like, that was a very clear example of that whole maladaptive perfectionism thing, where I, made some mistakes during play, had some bad luck happen, and I just completely broke down. And I shouldn't have. I'm aware that no one can be perfect all the time, and that mistakes are going to happen. But it's like I was trying to convince myself that for some reason I'm above mistakes. Like, I shouldn't be making them because this is something I'm supposed to be good at. Like, I don't know if this is making sense to anyone, but at the moment I'm just going with stream of consciousness. Okay, so getting additional cooldowns would be good. Getting additional maximum health barely matters. Plus, I don't really have the money for it anyway. Just like in real life, the things that are good for me, I can't afford. Shit, I can't even afford the things that aren't good for me. Like, my buddy and I just recently went to McDonald's because it's like, God, it's been a while since we've been to McDonald's, and wow, I can't believe how much I spent on my usual order, which, to be fair, it's a fat guy order, so make of that what you will. Maybe I was spending too much to begin with, but ugh. It just comes off as a no thank you. And we could talk forever about how the prices on everything are way too high, but oh, pardon me, I'm a sleepy boy, apparently. Not great, but I'll take it for now. So I suppose the obvious question to come out of all of this is, was my mother the sort of person that would ignore you unless you were living up to her standards of perfection? And do I think she straight up ignored? No, but she also was the sort of person that's kind of didn't seem like she had a lot of time for parenting, so to speak. Like, I don't know what the right way is to put it, because it's not like she was completely... And I also am aware that some of this is coming from the perspective of someone who had lived through. Like, is it right to say that it was neglectful? Because I'm not 100% sure it was. But she was also... Like, I don't want to necessarily go into everything. This isn't really the right place for it. I should be talking to my therapist about this, but I've said before that that on this channel, I'm very open about not just my own struggles, but about mental health struggles just in general. And I think if we were a bit more open with each other and talked a bit more openly about our problems, it would seriously help the healing process for so many of us. But anyway, let's get back to what I was saying earlier, and that is that I don't know if it's fair to say that my mother was neglectful. But I don't think it was neglectful. I think it was just more so that she was sort of set in her ways. And she had a hard time understanding other people's perspectives, if that makes sense. And again, I don't know if that's the most appropriate description of any of this. Okay, I see 2 power stones. Those are both going to be worth picking up. And again, because I grew up in the thick of that, not as much so as like my brother or sister did, but yeah, I might have a hard time identifying the full scope of the issues. Mostly because growing up, I had normalized it, so maybe I'm not the right person to talk to. I'm not the right person to think about these sort of things because I'm not sure I'm identifying them properly. There we go. Alright, before I buy anything, let me make sure that I've found Iris's shop. You know what? Use the portal, dumbass. Alright, what do we have here? Okay, so there's a strong part of me that would like to replace Rushing Typhoon with something else. Mostly because I know that we're coming up on enemies that are going to resist wind heavily. So maybe I should get Glacial Getaway. Turn this into a very water-focused build. You know what? Why not? Now, the problem is isn't going to keep that spell upgrade from showing up. Oh, that was terrible. Well, I mean, that's not going to help either. But yes, I do think I want the Power Stones. Now, I would like to ask, do any of you have any experience with that sort of like mental problem where you feel like you have to be perfect, otherwise you're going to be passed up and ignored? Like no one is going to care or even look at you if you're not being absolutely like 100% top of the class? And I feel the need to ask about that because not only is it something that I've been dealing with for a long time, but unbeknownst to me, my sister often feels that way. And I guess it's easy to think that you're the only one dealing with something when you're not talking about it. You just internalize it. But it gives me the staunch feeling that I'm not the only one dealing with stuff like that. So I want to know what sorts of experiences you've all had with that. Alright, give me that. Okay, getting beat up here. I need to take things a little bit slower. Okay, well, there's a few things here that I like, but I think I should wait. Like I said, especially since I'm getting beat up, I should probably prioritize survivability. Oh, speaking of survivability, yeah, we definitely want that. Okay, that's pretty much the entire floor, so... Alright, I'm just gonna grab that just so it stops showing up. Suppose another thing to think about is that it wasn't just on Balatro. You guys have both seen and heard me, go off on myself for other mistakes I make playing other games, especially this one. Yeah, no thanks. I guess what I'm really trying to say is I hope you guys understand what I'm going through and appreciate your patience with me while I try to both understand and work through some of my issues. Alright, hold on. I missed a combat room back here. We're gonna go quick knock these guys out because we could always use more money and chaos gems. Okay, should have thrown the star bolts. Oh, I also just now realized I forgot to go back and grab a cursed relic from the previous floor. Oops. So yeah, just pretend I'm not a giant fuck-up and that I went back and grabbed a relic. Also, let me know in the comments which relic you guys would have picked up. I'm guessing most of you would have said Double Trouble. I'm thinking just because I'm taking a little bit too much passive damage from Sano's headband, so I probably would have grabbed the Armor of Greed. But, you know, I don't think there is necessarily a bad option there. Okay, so we've now got the upgrade for that, thank goodness. Never going to complain about having more Silver Surfer-related objects. I might not have the power cosmic on my side, but god damn it, I still have power. And relatedly, what I'm trying to do is regain power over my own mind. Oh, that's really good. Oh, do I take that? I think I take that. You know, as loath as I am to admit it, I don't think the whole maladaptive perfectionism thing is the only psychological problem I have either. It's just the one that's easiest for me to identify and relate with. Alright, whatever. Choo-choo train? Okay, what does choo-choo train do again? I forgot. Stick with the headband. You know, I sometimes forget how good Glacial Getaway is at getting you in range to use stuff, and it does heavy damage against knockback resistant enemies too. Also, as I had mentioned before, it does score points for cool Silver Surfer related thoughts. Oh, that smells good too. But no. No, I told myself I was staying away from Wind Element, and right now my build is actually pretty good. And hey, speaking of Silver Surfer, you guys looking forward to whatever expansions they do for Marvel Cosmic Invasion? I was gonna say Marvel Rivals, but it's like, well, one, I don't play Marvel Rivals, and two, they just had an expansion where they added Gambit and Rogue, which I think is really sweet. Like those two characters deserve more love, especially from each other. Well, okay, we are. Like, I hate to do this, but I gotta drop Rainbow Tail to adopt the fairy. And I think we had to drop this to pick up the glasses. So 10%, 25%. Honestly, if I drop this as well, pick up the pendulum, and now the penalty for Strongman's hammer is just about negated. And I get 50% more damage on top of that, so absolutely no downside. And all I had to do is lower my maximum HP by 50, which, let's be real, I don't think I'm ever getting back up to maximum. Especially not playing like that, holy shit. And while I'm on the point, I think where this all comes from, aside from just, potential neglectful childhood, is this idea that I want people to know that I can see my own mistakes and that I'm trying to do better. Where I'm starting to now finally rethink some of this is that a healthy mindset though? Just because I can see myself, just because I know I can do better doesn't mean that punishing myself for not doing better is the right idea. Like, that's the thing, I can tell these things, but still have a hard time following through on them. And I suppose that's where I'm having my biggest difficulty, is following through on this idea that I know I don't have to be perfect, that, for the most part, I'm good enough as I am, but I never feel like I'm good enough as I am. I'm not going crazy, right? I'm not the only one that has thoughts like that. Oh, that was awful. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I too hard on myself? Or am I... oh, okay, well, excuse the fuck out of me. I did actually make it to maximum health. I didn't stay there, but I did make it back there. And that's Elden Ring brain kicking in, where I thought I would do just fine dodge rolling through the attack. We're good. There we go. Not a bad phase 1. Moving on. Mistakes were made, but water cushion is amazing. There we go, we silver surfed all over his face. Most excellent. Yeah, not a bad way to come back to my recording. But yeah, honestly, I'm just curious as to what you guys have to say about your experiences with this particular psychological trauma. It's one that I wasn't aware that I was dealing with as hard as I am, and I don't even know how to fix it, aside from telling myself that I'm good enough as I am. But I don't know, as per usual, a part of this is just a desperate cry for help and seeking external validation. So, I don't know, just let me know what you guys think. I'm curious about that. But that's all we have for this particular one, so I'll say thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you coming and spending your free time here with me today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Wolker, and you take care of